Welcome to the Mavs Court Report. I'm your host, Larry Lace. Today we're diving into the latest headlines from around the Dallas Mavericks. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Game Time, for sponsoring this episode. If you're looking for the best place to get your tickets to concerts, sporting events, Dallas Maverick games, Dallas Stars games, then you want to check out Game Time. Use the link in the description and help support the show. Now on to our first topic. Is Luka doing too much for the Mavs? Dallas Mavericks superstar Luka is off to a blazing start to the season. He has scored 30 plus in each of the first 7 games, and Luka is the first player since Wilt Chamberlain in 1962 to accomplish that feat. He's leading the NBA in scoring by averaging 36.1 points per game, but the Mavs are just 4-3. Their record doesn't tell the entire story. Dallas has a 117.9 offensive rating, which ranks second in the league. They're also 5th in net rating over the small sample, and Dallas is a few plays away from being 7-0. The stats suggest the Mavericks are a better team than their record. Is Luka doing too much to begin the season? He leads the league in scoring and has a historic usage rate after 7 games, but the Mavs want to go on another deep playoff run. Is that possible with number 77 doing so much? Defenses are forcing Dallas Mavericks star Luka to beat them. The Mavs won in the playoffs by getting Luka into the paint and kicking out to shooters that the defense was scrambling. So far this season, most defenses have been happy to let Luka go one-on-one as they try to limit his teammates. The results have been Luka going off early in games with teams adjusting late, but the shooters have not touched the ball making things a bit more difficult for them. Luka is making the right plays and not trying to do too much. The lane is open and he is feasting. The 23-year-old is in mid-season form after a Eurobasket. So Luka is cooking defenses. He looks phenomenal and is on pace to win his first NBA MVP honor, but can he keep it up for the entire season? Dallas Mavericks star Luka cannot keep up this pace forever. Like we said, Luka is averaging 31.6 points per game, but he has now found his jumper yet this season. He's shooting 51.4% from the field, but just 23.7% on his 3-point tries. Number 77 is getting to the free throw line 11.3 times per game in the early going to help lift his scoring average. Luka has led the league in usage for 2 straight seasons and has been over 36% since his first All-Star season in 2020. Luka has bumped up his usage rate to 40.5% over the first 7 games. That would be the second highest in NBA history and give Luka 3 of the top 12 seasons in NBA history after just 5 years in the league. Asking him to keep up a 40% usage for the entire season is a bit too much. He will be out of gas after the 82-game regular season grind and have nothing left for the playoffs. Dallas is focused on making his second straight postseason run, and they need to get Luka's usage down under 37% if they want to have a shot to make another run. Luka is doing what he has to do to help the Mavericks win in the early going. The 23-year-old superstar needs to go off to keep his team in the games, and there is where the problem lies. The Mavericks need to get Luka more help. The Mavs lost Jalen Brunson in the offseason after his breakout 4th NBA season. JB may not have been the second star Dallas was searching for, but he was a fantastic fit next to Luka. He could create shots, run the offense when Luka needed rest, and bail out the Mavs when the shot clock was running down. And as you can see now, Brunson is thriving in New York and further proving his skill. The Mavericks did not replace JB. They added Christian Wood, but he cannot create shots like Brunson. Dallas used their mid-level exception to JaVale McGee, who is struggling to begin the season and will never be a shot creator, and rookie Jaden Hardy, who is not NBA ready. Luka was already leading the league in usage, and now he has less shot creation around him. He has to do more to help the Mavs win. They had their most success last season with 2 ball handlers on the floor, but Dallas only has 2 playmakers on the roster now. Spencer Dinwiddie thrived as the Mavericks' 3rd playmaker last season, but now he is promoted to Brunson's former role, and there is nobody to fill the role he played last season. Luka is doing too much so far this season, and the Mavericks need to acquire another ball handler and playmaker if they want to make another deep playoff run. The 23-year-old superstar has been otherworldly to start the year, but the front office needs to get in more help before the deadline. There can be too much of a good thing, and Luka's usage is bordering on that line so far. Will it go down as the season progresses? Is it something to watch closely moving forward? Definitely. So stick with us as we focus on that moving forward. Before we move on, give us a thumbs up if you like our videos. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, leave us a comment in the comment section below and give us your thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks. And now on to our next topic. Is a starting line change coming soon for the Mavericks? The Dallas Mavericks signed JaVale McGee this offseason and instantly inserted him into the opening five. Head coach Jason Kidd worked with the veteran big man at Los Angeles, and the organization believed that McGee's rim protection, rebounding, and a lob threat would improve their starting lineup. After 7 games, fans are clamoring for a change. The Mavs have struggled to begin games, and it feels like they are fighting out of a hole every night. JaVale McGee cannot find his footing. And Kidd's starting five has a negative 15.6 net rating and 59 minutes on the floor so far this season. The starting lineup struggled again on Wednesday night against the Utah Jazz, but Dwight Powell brought a spark off the bench that helped the Mavs get back into the contest. And Christian Wood was outstanding in the second half to help them secure the victory. Are McGee's struggles enough to bench him? Coach Kidd hinted that a change could be on the horizon. Kidd was asked about specifically starting Dwight Powell after Wednesday's win over the Jazz, and he said this in a post-game presser. If I could start at 6, yeah, I'll take the T. I'll pay the fine? No, but he deserves it, and that will be something we talk about, so we will see. It was the first time since Summer League that Kidd waffled about McGee starting. He even gave the 7-footer an endorsement as the starting center following Sunday's win over the Magic. But McGee is just not getting the job done right now. He's struggling to rebound and protect the rim, while not providing any offensive impact. Dwight Powell's energy and effort were contagious in the Mavs' win over the Jazz. He changed the game as Dallas outscored Utah by 25 points in his 19 minutes of action. DP got extended run because he was flying around on the defensive end and pressuring the rim when the Mavericks had the ball. Spencer Dinwiddie let MFFLs know how special Dwight Powell is after the game. Should the Dallas Mavericks make a change in the starting lineup? Dwight Powell has outplayed JaVale McGee so far this season, and he is just more comfortable in the team system. Dallas will need McGee to produce at some point in the long season, but right now, DP should be back in the opening group. Every game matters in a deep Western Conference, and Powell is playing better at the moment. Will head coach Jason Kidd make a change when the Mavs host the Toronto Raptors? We shall see. And now on to our next topic. Mavericks versus Raptors odds, injury report, and predictions. The Dallas Mavericks continue their 5-game homestand against the Raptors on Friday night as Luka looks to become the second player in NBA history to score 30-plus in 8 straight games to begin a season, and the team searches for their 3rd straight win. Wilt Chamberlain did it 23 times in 1962 and 8 times in 1959. That is it, so there could be some history on November 4th at the American Airlines Center. Of course, by the time you're listening to this podcast, the game probably will be going on, if not, very soon. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong. Will Luka make history? Do the Mavericks jump to 5-3 on the young season, or do they head back to 500? It will be a cannot-miss game, as fans know Nick Nurse always brings out the exotic defenses to use against number 77. So here's a look at how to watch, the odds, and more. According to FanDuel Sportsbook, the Mavs are 4-point favorites ahead of Friday's contest at the American Airlines Center. They sit at minus 176 on the money line, and the over-under will be out closer to tip-off. Luka's over-under is 31.5 points, and fans should bet the over. The Raptors have a strong, switchable defense, but Luka is on a tear, and he plans on keeping up his historic pace in front of the home crowd on November 4th. And now our Dallas Mavericks versus Raptors injury report. The Mavs ruled out Frank and Davis Bertans for the 8th straight game on the NBA's official injury report. Jaden Hardy, Tyler Dorsey, and McKinley Wright will be with the G League team on Friday night and have also been ruled out as Dallas faces the Raptors. Fred VanVleet is questionable for Toronto with a back injury and should be considered 50-50 to play on Friday night in Dallas. Justin Champagnie and Ron Harper Jr. are both on G League assignment and will miss the game against the Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks versus the Raptors have a start time at 7:30 p.m. Central Time or 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can catch the game on Bally Sports Southwest Dallas, the Sports Network, or you can watch online with the Bally Sports Plus app or NBA League Pass. So our predictions: the Mavs and Raptors get matched in a wild shootout on Friday at the American Airlines Center, but ultimately Luka takes over late to lift Dallas to the win. The 23-year-old superstar goes for 37 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds as the Mavs pick up their 3rd straight victory. It is Dorian Finney-Smith who nails 4 key 3-pointers on Friday night and plays stout defense against Pascal Siakam that draws the non-Luka player of the game honors for the Mavericks against Toronto. The Mavs are in the middle of a 5-game homestand that wraps up on Monday night before Dallas heads east for a quick 2-game road trip. This is a look at the team's next 3 games, starting on November 7th versus the Brooklyn Nets at 8:45 p.m. Central, November 9th at Orlando Magic at 6 p.m., and November 10th at the Washington Wizards at 6 p.m. Can Luka stay hot on Friday night? Will he go for 30-plus in his 8th straight game? Be sure to tune in because the Dallas superstar is going to put on a show no matter what. And that is all we have for this episode of the Mavs Court Report. Give us your thoughts in the comments section below. Let us know your thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks as a whole. How far do you think they'll go this season? Do you think they'll make the playoffs again? If not, or if so, let us know. As always, subscribe to the podcast on all major podcast platforms. And subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.